Happy Shabbat. All praise to the Most High.
Shalom.
And we are going into our lesson on the Ten Commandments. We are on the fourth commandment, which is one of my favorites. It should be all our favorites. Which is we are in Exodus 20, and we're talking about the Sabbath day. So all those that have been listening along and following along with us, we do a study every week on a particular topic. We've been on the commandments now, so this is the fourth week. We did the commandments, we're on the fourth one, so it's the fourth week. And we are basically we do an independent study, each one of us, on the Sabbath day to give you a different breakdown. And we don't never come together until this particular day and share our information on some won't be here today because they're not going to be able to make it in. But for the most part, we are definitely here to share what we have. So with that being said, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And we are going to open up with Exodus 20. We're reading out our King James Version, of course, and starting with verse 8. Okay, so I'm going to kick this one off this time. Exodus 20, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Okay, so when I was looking at this, I was like, wow, this is the only commandment out of the 10 that you ask that asks you to remember. And I was thinking like, wow, that's deep. Like the Most High knew that we would forget, so, when I looked into it, okay, I had to really let the Ruach give me an understanding of why remembering is so important. Okay, so one, I saw that because he knew, the Most High, he knew that we would be lied to in all our captivities and forget. Mm-hmm. That was one of the reasons he said remember, because he knew through predestination, he knows we're going to go through all these different captivities.
Right.
And he know that we are stiff-necked people, and we just going to keep not doing the laws. Even now, people, they'll accept the fact that they're Israelites, but they don't, when you start talking about doing the laws, they're like, oh no, we got to find a way out of that. And they try to go to the Mashiach, and they don't realize that the Mashiach got more laws, because he's telling us not to do things even in the spirit realm,
Right.
Then it's like, and I don't think people are really understanding this thing, but the Most High is going to have order in his kingdom, and I just want to say something about that, and I may have said this once before, but so I need to be redundant on it because some things just need to be repeated. When people say, oh, the laws was a schoolmaster, let me tell you something. Ask a mathematician, do he throw away what he learned in preschool because he's doing pre-algebra or calculus? He's going to say, no, I still use from 0 to 10. I still use multiplication, division, subtraction, and addition. So just because something brings us into something as a schoolmaster don't mean that it's done away with. We still use the same principles. The principles still stand. So I just had to throw that in because it's ridiculous to think that, that everything, it's just done away with. Ask a mathematician, do he throw away addition, subtraction, and so on for doing calculus? Mm-hmm. Or ask a person that do geometry, do they throw away line segments and rules that deal with line segments? So it doesn't happen. This is something that you have to continuously use and continuously do.
Basics.
The basics, and you got to keep them. So with that being said, like I said, because the Most High knew that we would be lied to in all our captivities and we would forget. Why is that? Because our captivities were driven by evil. It was driven by Satan. So of course he's going to make them and steer them in a direction, since they're being used, to keep us from knowing who we are, or to go back into and find out who we are and so forth. So they had to take all our history from us, all the things that we were practicing and that was regular that we did
Everything.
on a regular basis. They had to take all those things from us, And over centuries, it becomes successful because you don't practice it no more. So this is why he said, remember the Sabbath. You don't have to remember not to steal. You kind of know not to steal, but when it comes to the Sabbath, it's tampering with. Which brings me to my second reason here. The enemy, knew that we couldn't benefit from the obedience of it all. So here it is, the Most High gave us something to be obedient to, and he knew that we couldn't benefit because we're off not doing it the way he commanded us to do it. So the obedience is off. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is why I believe was part of the reason why he said remember, and this is why it was so important for them to sabotage that, the enemy. Go ahead.
Can I just say something about
Sure.
the memory thing? It's so important. Just as you were speaking, I just had an image of remembering. What the Most High brought to my mind is muscle memory. How they say when you're working out, or if you have an accident and you don't use a particular muscle, it will die because it's not being used. Because you lose the muscle memory, you're not exercising that muscle. So not exercising the commandment. The commandments are what strengthen us.
That's right.
They're what give us our strength and build us up. And when we don't exercise and operate in them, we die spiritually, physically, literally, figuratively.
And just to piggyback on what you just said, muscle memory. When you do get back into remembering, everything falls right back in place again. It becomes a part of every part because your muscle does remember.
It was meant to do that.
It was meant to. You were designed. And when I say design, I hear the scripture in the back of my head. I hear people saying, "Oh no, the Sabbath wasn't, wasn't made for man. Man was made for the Sabbath. The Sabbath was made for man." But you got to understand something. When you obey the Most High, you want to do these things. That's why he said, "If you love me, you'll keep my commandments." And then he said, "This is how we know that you love him, that you keep the commandments." John says it again. In 1 John, I believe, I can't remember 2 and 4 or something. I can't remember. I might be wrong, y'all, but and it goes on, so this is how we know. So it's important for us to do that, And verse 9 here, 6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work. And I looked at this and I said, wow, this one right here is deep. Because we address a lot of stuff about keeping the commandments, but what we don't address is how we use our work days.
Right.
And what I wanted to say was, for the 6 days, we should labor and work, like he says, and keep things prioritized. Because then we'll find ourselves, we won't be overdoing it. Just before the sun goes down on Friday. A lot of people, I find, right just before the Sabbath, they just come in and they just start running to the store, running here, running there. And we make jokes about it, this and that and the other, but really, it's really not funny because it's about prioritizing your time. And you prioritize your time right throughout the week, you won't have to do that. So I believe that had to be addressed right here. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. So you won't be, overwhelmed with trying to do everything at the last minute. And we found so many people get caught up on this. We always talk about keeping the commandments and keeping the Sabbath, but we never discuss organizing time better. So that the pre-Sabbath time is not rushed. So I thought that was important to hit on. Did you have anything to say about that? Okay.
Well, just the Most High did.
Yeah.
Day one.
Yeah.
He completed, and he didn't carry things over.
Yeah.
He set out a task, and that task was completed in that day that it was appointed for completion. And then he moved on to the next task.
Exactly.
So that everything was completed.
Exactly. And when you distribute your time like this, your rest is not stressed out. And we'll get to that because I got something about that too. But okay, so verse 10. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. So I looked at this and I said, wow. And the first thing I thought of a lot of things, but this verse right here was so cool because it's not just for, the so-called man or breadwinner or whoever you want to call him, so to speak, but it's for everyone in the house.
Right.
And that includes the servants. Now we know that in slavery, they were given that Sunday off. And they were very grateful for that one day off. Unless the slave master wanted them to do what was known as a light day of work, and that's to serve his friends on special barbecues or pagan feast days or whatever. But this is what they had to do on those days. They didn't even get to work. They didn't even get a day off that day.
Right.
So we have to keep in mind, that this is just another reason why the Most High is so angry with this nation, because they didn't even, when it came to slavery, they did nothing according to anything he's ever said, And when you start looking at this, it's really cool to have people working, in the fields like that, and then the next day they got to go sing and dance and do different things for your company because you're having a barbecue. And then the next day, it's not like that. The next day you're going, oh, you know what, y'all don't have to work at all. The next day you want them up and running again.
Right.
And that throws a person's equilibrium off. I mean, can you imagine how many people probably got killed because they just couldn't get up the next morning to do what they needed to do, and they made examples out of them. So I mean, this is the kind of stuff that the Most High was talking. That's why he in Israel, when we had servants, not chattel slavery, but when we had servants, we were, we had an order of operations. You even had to let them settle,
right,
and give them time off, So I thought this was real interesting. So as you can clearly see, the Most High laws, it don't allow you to continuously work, even your servant. Okay. And then it also says that even your cattle,
right,
working the plows in the field and etc. Because it's a day to replenish. That's what people don't understand. You have to replenish the energy that you spent.
Restore.
It's just the natural order of things. It's called the natural order of things. And as you can see, even the cattle get a break. And then you look at chattel slavery and you see that they didn't get a break. And they broke those people, broke them, and they didn't get a break, And that's why you can see it today in basketball games and football games. You see that they didn't get that break because when we get involved in sports and so forth, I mean, we just dominate the sport. Because, gene-wise, you have to look at the genes.
Right.
We've been made to continue on. And when you begin to really look at that continue on, I don't want to go too far from the lesson, but the Holy Spirit just leading me places, And I just want to say that when you look at it continuing on like that, that's what it's about, finishing the race.
Right.
And we're made physically to finish the race.
To endure to the end.
We're made to endure the end, physically, but we have to make sure we line that up with the spirit, Okay. So the stranger, let me see. Okay. Then it says, not a stranger either. So, we are not to pay like Hamites or any other nation to fix something in our house on the Sabbath day, because, we're given the laws and they weren't, but we have to remember that we have to be a light, a beacon light to the Gentile nations to bring them into, this truth as well, on how to make this world run smooth.
Right.
And that's part of us keeping commandments in front of them and to respect all life, as you can see, even the stranger, it says. So, I just want to take time out to address, can we light a fire at this point? Because sometimes people ask that question, can we light a fire? Or can I work on Sabbath, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? I would have to say no. And because the scripture is pretty clear, work 6 days and you rest on that. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh no, it's okay because we in captivity and we didn't. You're never going to say that this brother told you that was okay. I think that everybody has to be fully persuaded in their own spirit according to how they deal with the Ruach, you know, about what they should do and what they shouldn't do. You follow the Holy Spirit, you know. And also, you know, some people say, well, can I peel a banana? I mean, come on, y'all. You know, I mean, you're going to unpeel a banana and put it on your table until the next day. You know, so certain stuff you don't have to ask, you know, if you follow the Mashiach, you know, you'll do well. Because he told us how to deal with how the kingdom walk. Yeah. You know, she showed us, not just told us, but he showed us how to do, you know, how to walk in the, you know, in the kingdom, how you for the kingdom walk. That's what I call the kingdom walk. So, you know, we don't have to ask those questions when we peel something, you know. You know, what people don't understand is that, you know, and I'm getting it now with this verse 11. It says, "For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth and sea, and all that is in them." Oh, I'm sorry, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So to me, hallow means a light day. That means it's hollowed out. It's not a heavy day. It's just a light day. So you're not supposed to work and make it. It's not going to be a heavy day. It's a day for you to replenish. You know, and it's a hollow day. So that don't mean you don't walk to the table to eat. You know, right? You know, it's just a hollow day. It's not. You know, you don't. You know, you're not going to go outside and split logs and warm stuff up and or cook something. But other than that, you know, you have to be fully persuaded. Right? You have to be fully persuaded. You know, and that's what it is. You know. So that was my presentation on the Sabbath day.
Before I get into what the Most High revealed to me, I just feel led to share this. Years ago, I was visiting a synagogue. It was for an assignment for school, and I had to go visit, you know, another faith, and I was making my observations and, you know, just sitting back. And the Most High, first of all, before I went, the Most High shared with me, I said, well, you know, what should I be looking for? Because I don't want to be, first of all, I didn't want any spirits to jump off on me in the place that I was going. I'm not trying to be spooky or anything, but I didn't want to pick up any habits or attitudes before I went.
Understood.
And so what the Most High shared with me before I went is it's not just the law, it's the law and the love. So that's what I began to look for, and I didn't see it. But not only that, as I was taking notes, they were explaining to me, they were really good about, you know, this is that, and yada, yada, yada. And I was taking notes, and somebody turned and looked at me like, you know, remember the old E.F. Hutton commercial? And I was like, what did I do? And the guy said, you're not supposed to use a pen during the Sabbath. That was considered work. Can't use a pen. No writing instruments. No utensils.
Okay.
I said, oh, okay. But that was how they defined work.
Okay.
Not necessarily how the Most High defines work.
Right.
But that was their interpretation. So I just thought that was interesting.
That's funny, though. Not funny, but, you know, when I just said a minute ago, let every man be fully persuaded by the Spirit, by the Ruach. You know, to have a definition of you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's like, you know, every man is not being fully persuaded.
Right.
You know.
You're forcing.
Because let me say this, I gotta say this. This is so real. Now you said this. There's been times when we went out on the Sabbath, but we were instructed to by the Ruach.
Right.
To go feed people.
Right.
And I remember one particular time, I'll never forget, he said make 18 trays of food. And I made 8. I'm like, man, why 18? But I didn't question it. You know, I thought it, but I didn't really go into it. I made the 18 trays. And me and Yada, we went out to go deliver the food and so forth. So when we got out there, it was 17 people out there. And I gave all the food away except for one tray. And I was riding away. And nobody knew how many trays I had. I never said one. I never said, I got 18 trays. I can't believe I got one left. Somebody want one? Yeah. I never said that. I just got in the truck. They didn't see how many I had because the truck had 10 windows. We just got back in the truck. We pulled off. And as we were pulling off, I will never forget this. Somebody said, hey. And I said, he said, sorry, this guy was coming back from the store. We forgot one. And I said, wow. And I turned back around and I gave him the one tray. So what I'm saying is, when the Most High tell you to do something, you just do it. You can't worry about people's rules and all that kind of stuff, because the Ruach move in mysterious ways, I mean, who would have known 18 people? That's not 20 trays.
Right.
Normally you would make, well, let me squeeze in 20 trays. Even if you don't have enough food, you could make 20 trays out of 18 trays.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't about that. It was about 18 trays, not 20 trays or 17. And I'm just saying, I got to say this because I can tell you so many stories, but I'll just leave it at that one. And, but so many stories when he told us to get up and go places, and it was on the Sabbath to do work. Because that's work. People still got to eat.
Right.
Oh, what you going to do? You're not going to feed 18 people? They got to eat. Right. So every man has to be fully persuaded within the Holy Spirit. I just want to share that testimony.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All praise to the
All
Most
praise
High.
to you.
So, starting with the word remember, in Hebrew it's 2142, zakar or zakar, and it is properly to mark. It's a primitive root word as to be recognized. That is to remember by implication, to mention. So, what is it that the Most High wants us to remember? The Sabbath. Sabbath is H7676. Shabbat. It's an intensive that comes from H7673. And Shabbat means intermission. When I saw that, I thought about, back when people would go to the theater and they would watch a play, and halfway through, they would take a break. People would leave the stage. People in the audience would leave the audience, go rest, refresh themselves, go to the restroom, and literally all action would stop during intermission.
Wow.
This is what the Sabbath or Shabbat is intended to be. So let's look at the root word. The root word for Shabbat is Shabbat, H7673. A primitive root to repose, that is, desist from exertion.
Wow.
Used in many implied relations, causatively, figuratively, or specifically, cause, to let, to make, to cease, celebrate, cause or make to fail or keep the Sabbath, suffer to be lacking, leave, put away, down, make to rest, rid, still.
Wow.
This is what the Most High is calling us to do on that day. And the day refers to, it's from Hebrew H3117. It's an unused root word, to be hot, a day, as the warm hours. So from sunrise to sunset, or from one sunset to the next, literally that is the Sabbath day. He wants us to keep it holy. To keep it holy is H6942, Kadash, a primitive root to be causatively make, pronounce, or observe as clean, ceremonially or morally. Appoint, bid, consecrate, dedicate, defile, hallow, be or keep, holy, a place, keep, prepare, proclaim, purify, and sanctify oneself holy. So how did the Most High instruct us to keep the Shabbat holy? The Most High was very specific about setting aside the Shabbat for rest. Exodus 16:23 through 30 says, do not cook. Starting at verse 23. And he said unto them, this is what the Most High had said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Most High. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. And they laid it up till the morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither were there any worm therein.
Wow.
And Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Most High. Today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the seventh day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the seventh day for to gather, and they found none. And the Most High said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for that the Most High hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the sixth day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day.
Mm.
So the people rested on the seventh day.
Yes. Yes.
And so verse 23, Exodus 16 and 23, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say something about holy. When you said holy, I thought about holy with the W in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that, you know, when you're keeping it holy, we become whole. Because
yes.
when we need some replenishing, we empty.
Yeah.
We empty of something.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say that, you know, you get your biggest revelations on the Sabbath day. Yeah. I'm telling you, I remember so many times, even recently, the Most High gives me the most biggest revelations on the Sabbath day. Mm-hmm. It is so important for us to keep this Shabbat, y'all.
Being obedient.
So important.
Yeah.
But go ahead,
But that's actually the last definition of to keep it holy is holy.
Wow.
WHOLLY. Holy is
okay.
The final definition. Good. So let's look at the words in Exodus 16:23. Bake. The word bake is H644. Afa, a primitive root to cook, especially to bake. Mm. Seed is H1310. Bashal, a primitive root properly to boil up, hence to be done in cooking, figuratively to ripen, bake, boil, bring forth, is ripe, roast, seed, or side. Wow. So whatever remaineth over is H5736, a primitive root to cause, redundant, more, be more, an odd number, to have over plus, remain, for you to be kept. This is H4931, Mishmareth. It's the feminine of H4929, watch. That is the act, custody, or concretely, the sentry, the post, objectively, preservation, or concretely safe. Figuratively, observance, that is abstractly, duty, or objectively, a usage or party, to keep, charge, to be kept, office, ordinance, safeguard, ward, or watch. So those things that you prepare are to be guarded, for you to be kept over for the Sabbath. Exodus 35:3, as you pointed out, says, do not even kindle a fire. It says, ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations on the Sabbath day. So the word ye shall kindle is H1197. Barar, a primitive root to kindle, that is consume by fire or by eating, also as denominative from 1198, to become brutish, be brute, bring, put, take away, burn, cause to eat up, feed, heat, kindle, set on fire. So this is clear. Microwave, oven, I don't care how you think. The scripture, all of these, the Most High is saying, do not do it. Most High also says in Exodus 31:14-15 and Exodus 35:2, both say, do no work. 31:14 says, ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 15 says, 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Most High. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath shall be surely put to death.
And can I just add to that too? Mm-hmm. That, you know, I'm just sitting here listening to you as I'm listening to the Holy Spirit minister. And I'm telling you, it's so incredible because we follow the Mashiach as the Mashiach follow the Most High. Mm-hmm. If he rests, we should rest.
Absolutely.
I mean, he over and over again, he's telling you, look, work 6 days, rest. Right. If the Most High rests, then we should rest.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. That's actually what I was just getting to. 31:17 says, "It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed."
Wow.
Okay, so what does the Most High consider work? Work in this particular verse is H4399, Melakah, from the same as H4397, properly deputyship, that is ministry, generally employment, never servile, or work abstractly or concretely. Also property as the result of labor, business, cattle, industrious occupation, officer, thing, made, used, manner of work, anything. The word that it comes from, 4397, is malak, from an unused root meaning to dispatch as a deputy, a messenger, specifically of the Most High God. That is an angel, also a prophet, priest, or teacher, ambassador, angel, king, or messenger. There are other words that are used for work in other scriptures, but the commandment still stands. No work on the Sabbath. In Exodus 23:12, the Hebrew word used is ma'asah. 6 days shalt thou do thy work, and on the seventh day thou shalt rest, that thine axe and thine ass may rest, and the son of thy handmaiden and stranger may be refreshed. Thy work is the word that's used here, 46:39. Ma'asah or ma'aseh is an action, good or bad, generally a transaction, abstractly activity, by implication a product, specifically a poem or generally property, act, art, bake, meat, business, deed, labor, thing made, where of making, occupation, thing offered, operation, possession, work, workmanship. In Exodus 23:12, we are promised rest on the Sabbath will leave us refreshed. Just as the Most High was refreshed on the seventh day when he rested on the Sabbath after he created everything in heaven and earth, resting on the Sabbath restores us closer to the image made in the likeness of the Most High. In Genesis 2:7, it says, "And the Most High formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul." The same word refreshed appears in Exodus 31:17 and Exodus 23:12. The word refreshed is nafash, a primitive root meaning to breathe, passively, to be breathed upon, that is figuratively refreshed as if by a current of air. So the Most High commands us not to work and to keep the Sabbath as a day of rest, holy unto the Most High. Exodus 31:15 speaks of the seventh day as a Sabbath of rest. The word of rest is H7677, Shabbaton. It's from 7676, a sabbatism or special holiday. The seventh day is to be kept holy unto the Most High, and if we fail to do so, the penalty is death. He wants us to rest so he can breathe upon us. Keeping it holy is H6944, Kodesh, from 6942, a sacred place or thing, rarely abstractly, sanctity, consecrated, dedicated, hallowed, holiness. We talked about earlier, wholeness. Go ahead.
Now I was just thinking too, when you said the rest, it made me think of, how he will punish you through death. We have to look at that also, like if we don't rest and we don't give our body the proper equal share that it needs in order to rest, we're killing ourselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I remember once again the time when I was working and we used to work 63 hours a week. It was just crazy, just all week long. And at that time, we were working on the Sabbath. I was in corporate, so we had to work. But the thing was, I remember my body just shut down one day. and it was on the Sabbath. And they had to call the ambulance, you know, and I ended up having to take months off, months.
Wow.
And I was just stressed out and tired and everything. So your body will shut down. You have to work. You have to rest.
It's a literal and a figurative death.
Yeah.
It is. We're killing ourselves by not following the Sabbath.
Exactly.
So Exodus 35:2, which says 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day there shall be to you an holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Most High. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death. Just an interesting, I'm always looking for just appearances of the name that the Most High revealed to Moses. And here it is, again, I found in 35:2, right in the middle of this verse, there shall be is H1961 Hayam, to be, to exist or become. And therein shall be put to death is H4191 Muth, a primitive root to die, again, literally or figuratively, causatively, to kill, destroy, death, cause to be like, die, kill, necromancer. Numbers 15:32-36 provides an example of the punishment for doing work on the Sabbath. Beginning at verse 32, Numbers. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron and unto all the congregation. And they put him in ward, because it was not declared what should be done to him. And the Most High said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp. And all the congregation brought him without the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died as the Most High commanded Moses. Exodus 20:9 says, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. The word shalt thou labor is H5647. Abad, to work in any sense, by implication to serve, till, keep in bondage, be bondmen, bond service. So this is talking about thy work. Again, melakah, property deputyship, that is ministry or general employment. Exodus 20:10 says this commandment applies to every member of your household, including sons, daughters, manservants, maidservants, cattle, even the stranger, anyone who is within your gates. So why does the Most High want us to rest on the seventh day? Because the Most High rested on the seventh day, as is recorded in Genesis 2:2-3. And on the seventh day, the Most High ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And the Most High blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he rested from all his work which the Most High created and made.
You know, and I got to say something about that sanctified. Sanctified is talking about setting something apart.
Yes.
So how you want to take a set apart day and substitute it for a day that has not been set apart for the same thing? When you set, when the Most High sets something apart, he sanctions it and makes it holy. So this is how demonic this is. And people don't see, they don't see no big deal in it. You know, they say in a minute, well, you know, you can use any day as a Sabbath. I don't know where they get that.
Most High didn't say use any day.
I don't know where they get those things from, but they twist scripture. Obviously, all of them go to Paul. You know that you can't go to
and then they'll say, well, I work Monday through.
And even Paul don't say it, but they twist it to say it.
Right.
You know, and the thing is, yeah, they say these different things.
That's my Sabbath.
Yeah.
Monday is my Sabbath.
I've heard so many different people say it before. But wait a minute, what about the day that he set apart?
Right.
You know, if he changed something, don't you think he would have told his son? Don't you think he would have told don't you think he would have told the disciples?
Right.
You know, so I mean, you have to. It's just amazing. It's amazing, but people, and they don't even see themselves fighting it. They don't even see themselves fighting it. If it was me, I'd be wondering, why am I fighting it? Well, that really do make sense. Why am I fighting it? You know, and I just want to say that about the set apart, because it just hit me when you said it.
Right. Well, the Most High completed all his work on the sixth day and rested. on the seventh day to remind us, the creatures he created in his image, to rest on the seventh day. We are created in the image of the Most High, and the Most High is our model for holiness.
Right.
The word rested is H5117, nuak, a primitive root to rest, that is, settle down, using the great variety of applications literally and figuratively, intransitively, transitively, and causatively, to dwell, stay, let fall, place, let alone, withdraw, give comfort, cease, lay that, let down, quiet, remain, rest, set down. The Most High gave us the Sabbath to remember him, to refrain from work, and to rest in him so that he could restore us to the image that he created us by following his model.
Yes. All praise. I know that's right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. You know, and one thing I just want to say about these lessons, you know, as we begin to break each and every last commandment down, and you know, we try to share what the Most High blessed us with. It's so good that we end it that way. That we end it in such a way where the Mashiach is getting his you know, his praise for the simple fact that he was our model for all the commandments. You know, he was our model in love and long suffering. I don't hear too many of our people talking about the fruits of the spirit, but you know, he was a model for all those things, and we really got to understand how that works with the different laws and commandments. How, you know, make that work with that. You know, as far as the fruits of the spirit.
Yes.
You know, and how important it is to love. You know, and to keep the Sabbath in love, and keep all these things in love. Love for the Mashiach, love for the Most High, love for the Ruach. Because, you know, they got a blueprint for us to live, and a way for us to really take the word that we have and the laws and so forth and make them a part of every part. That's how it was with the Mashiach. You know, he lived the laws. He was the laws made manifest.
Right. He was the laws.
You know, right. You know,
fulfillment.
So, right. So then that's how we have to be. We have to be an example like that. We have to live the laws.
Yeah.
All praises.
Praise the Most High.
So this concludes today's lesson on the Sabbath day. And as always, if anyone have any questions or any comments they want to add to this, feel free to go in the comment section and share whatever it is that you have. Even testimonies. We love testimonies. So any of those things like that, because that shows the application of how we walk. So
right.
You know, we love all that. So we love you all, and happy Shabbat. And we hope that someone got blessed out of this.
Shabbat shalom.
I'll play Shabbat shalom. Kwame shalom.
Kwame shalom.